We have a beautiful Saturday for college football, week 4. I've got my golf hat on to represent the Ryder Cup, but you know we're talking about college football in this Cruel Fan video. Welcome everybody and thanks for joining us. It should be a fantastic week 4 in college football. This is the week where conferences begin to play each other immensely. That means in the SEC, we're going to see some great inter-conference rivals. In the Pac-12, we'll see the same. It's going to be fun to watch all the way around. I cannot wait. Before we get to week 4, let's do a very quick recap of week 3. You would have thought it was Halloween because scary season was upon us. You had Ohio State, Alabama, Clemson, Cincinnati, all up on the ropes. Very good chances of losing. I forget to throw Oklahoma in there too, but they all escaped some way, somehow, all getting W's. That would have immensely changed the state of the top 10 right now. It would have immensely changed what the college football playoff picture would have looked like. It would have been fully wide open. Florida almost upsets Alabama. Ohio State almost loses another game. Oklahoma barely beating Nebraska. That one didn't make any sense to me. And then Cincinnati, since they've been this ranked powerhouse, really one of the first games we've seen them struggle big time against Indiana. So it was an interesting week, but they all come away with wins. You have to note the Pac-12 yet again struggling. BYU beats Arizona State really bad. Arizona loses to Northern Arizona, FCS team. That's horrible, like really horrible. San Diego State comes in, they knock off Utah. Fresno State beats UCLA. It was non-stop losing last week for the Pac-12. They just can't get it together. It's all on Oregon's shoulders at this point to make the college football playoff. I do want to talk about something in week 3, my favorite performance, SMU, Hail Mary winner. You love to see that. Whenever something like that happens, you have to touch on it. My biggest disappointment is Arizona State, an alumnus right here, just blowing it to BYU. One of the most undisciplined football games I've watched in a very long time. So that is kind of the week 3 recap. Nothing too major happened, but as we come into week 4, let's note on some of the biggest changes in the top 25. Going to number 6, Penn State. They look really good, getting that win over Auburn last week in the whiteout game. Fun to watch, good game. A couple of questionable officiating calls, but all in all, Penn State looks legit right now. Number 9 is now occupied by Clemson. They fall from 6, barely beating Georgia Tech last week. Who knows what's going on with Clemson? Their defense is legit, but that offense is just not where it should be. I had really high hopes for DJ Uiagalelei. He's struggling big time right now, and I think a lot of that has to do with their offensive line as well. But so far, not great for Clemson, and you're wondering, when is the breakout game? When does Dabo Swinney put his foot down on the neck of an opponent and just run away with this thing? It hasn't happened yet, so we're going to have to keep waiting. And then the other big move up from 23 to 15 is BYU. They deserve it. Probably the strongest group of 5 team right now after that win against Arizona State. They have 3 wins, all against Pac-12 opponents. It's been really impressive to watch, but now we're getting into the part of their season where it kind of slows down, and this is where they might struggle to convince college football playoff voters to put them in. So BYU has to be perfect from here on out. Again, it'll help big time when they join the Big 12 in 2 seasons, but until then, I just don't have a lot of high hopes for BYU in the playoffs because their schedule isn't strong enough after those first few games. And then Arizona State completely falls out of the top 25. That sucks. I want to touch on Heisman favorite. It's now Matt Corral Jr. I mentioned him before the season. Ole Miss's quarterback, plus 200 as the Heisman favorite right now. This dude is balling out. I knew he would in Lane Kiffin's offense. He's just proven to be really exciting to watch, and his draft stock is just flying right now. Best game in week 4, Texas A&M, Arkansas. Number 7 versus number 16. This is a huge game for Calzada, the new quarterback for Texas A&M. I think Jimbo, if they want any shot at playing in a college football playoff, has to have a convincing win here in this one. Arkansas will be without 2 of their offensive linemen, at least for right now. That's what it looks like. Their running game is the strongest part of that team, so without 2 guys up front, I think that bodes very well for Texas A&M, who's a 5.5-point road favorite. They're going to have to run away with this thing. Seriously, run away with this game. It should be really fun to watch. There's a lot of dinker games for a lot of the bigger teams, and there's a lot of off weeks this week as well. So that is my best game moving into this weekend. But you've also got Notre Dame and Wisconsin, which should be a good one. Wisconsin, they have a lot to prove, and Notre Dame, they haven't looked that great this year. So that could be really fun back and forth. But either way, it should be a fun week 4 in the college football season. Hopefully you watch, hopefully you enjoy, and I can't wait to talk to you guys next week.